Hello, good morning, students. Yesterday we have started with one more abdominal organ, that is pancreas. Yesterday we have finished about its introduction, situation or location, its measurement and weight, parts for examination. In parts we have finished about the head of the pancreas, its borders, surfaces, their peritoneal relation, general relation. Then after that, the neck of the pancreas, their border and surfaces, then its peritoneal relation and general relation. Today we'll go further. Next part of pancreas is body of pancreas. The body of pancreas is prismoid in shape and presents three surfaces and three borders. As it is prismoid, or at a cross section it is triangular, so it is having three borders which will divide the three surfaces. Those three surfaces are anterior surface, posterior surface and inferior surface, and the borders are anterior border, superior border and inferior border. Now we will start with the surfaces of body of pancreas. First we'll see the anterior surface and its relation. The anterior surface lies in between the superior and anterior borders, and it is covered by the peritoneum of lesser sac. It is in relation to the postero-inferior surface of the stomach and forms a part of the stomach bed. Next is inferior surface. Inferior surface lies in between the anterior and inferior borders, and it is covered by the peritoneum of greater sac again. From the right to the left, it is in relation to the duodenojejunal flexure, some coils of jejunum and the left colic flexure of large intestine. The posterior surface lies in between the superior and inferior borders, and it is usually grooved by the splenic artery, which passes transversely from the right to the left side. This posterior surface, it is devoid of peritoneum. It is in relation in order from the right to left to the origin of superior mesenteric artery, the left crus of diaphragm, the inferior mesenteric vein, the left testicular vein in the males and left ovarian vein in the females, the left suprarenal gland and the anterior surface of the left kidney. Now we will see the borders of the body of pancreas and their relation. The first is the superior border. The superior border, it separates the anterior surface from the posterior surface, and from its right end it gives out a process, the tuberoomentale, which comes into relation with the lesser curvature of the stomach. Superiorly, it is related to the colic artery. The anterior border, which separates the anterior surface from the inferior surface, and it gives attachment to the two layers of the transverse mesocolon. The third is the inferior border. The inferior border, it separates the inferior surface from the posterior surface, and close to its right extremity, it is closely related to the superior mesenteric artery. Here in this image we can see the pancreas and its relation with the other abdominal organs. The next part is the tail of the pancreas. The tail of the pancreas succeeds the body and is formed by its left extremity, which lies in contact with the medial surface of the spleen or hilum of the spleen, below the gastric impression and above the impression for the left colic flexure. It lies in between the two layers of lienorenal ligament, where it comes into close contact with the splenic vessels which pass through this lienorenal ligament. Occasionally, the splenic vessels cross in front of it on its way to the spleen. As we all know, pancreas having both endocrine as well as exocrine function. Its exocrine secretions of pancreas is conveyed or reached to the duodenum by two ducts. One main duct which receives the secretion from the tail, body and part of the head, and an another duct draining the uncinate process and the lower part of the head. The main duct of the pancreas is usually known as the pancreatic duct, and the other is known as the accessory pancreatic duct. The main or pancreatic duct, it begins in the tail of the pancreas and transverses through the body, lying midway between the superior and anterior borders and nearer to its posterior than its anterior surface. As it proceeds towards the head, it gradually increases in its diameter and receives branches throughout its course, which open into it almost at a right angle from both the sides. This type of arrangement is called as herring-bone duct system. The accessory pancreatic duct, it is a small duct which drains the uncinate process and the lower part of the head and runs upwards to cross the pancreatic duct in front and is communicated to the latter by a branch at the neck of the pancreas. Next is blood supply to the pancreas. The head of the pancreas is supplied by the superior and inferior pancreatico-duodenal arteries. The body and the tail are supplied by the pancreatic branches of the gastroduodenal, superior mesenteric and splenic arteries. Venous drainage of the pancreas. The veins are corresponding or run together with the arteries. The pancreatic vein drains into the splenic vein, and the inferior pancreatico-duodenal vein drains into the superior mesenteric vein, and superior pancreatico-duodenal with the superior mesenteric vein and splenic vein all together drains into the portal vein. The lymphatic drainage of the pancreas drain in the lymphatic cleft between the alveoli of the gland. They terminate in the colic nodes either directly or indirectly through the superior mesenteric or pancreatic group of lymph nodes. Last is applied aspect or applied anatomy of pancreas. These four diseases we can remember easily and cause much distress in the human being. First is acute pancreatitis. This occurs maybe due to some blow or direct injury to the abdomen, where the pancreas gets inflamed and acutely we can feel the pain at the umbilical region. Next is chronic pancreatitis, where due to any bacterial viral infection or due to chronic alcoholism, the cells or pancreas gets inflamed, and because of this its major function or enzymes, digestive enzymes, gets hampered, and because of that the digestion of proteins, carbohydrates and fats doesn't occur and they pass directly through the feces. Next is diabetes mellitus, which is very common in today's generation, where its symptoms are polyuria, increased frequency of urine, polyphagia, voracious appetite or very much increased appetite, polydipsia, excessive thirst, and glucosuria, presence of sugar in the urine, and with that hyperglycemia, that is increased glucose level in the blood. So this completes the gross anatomy of pancreas. Tomorrow we'll see the next part, the remaining part, that is embryology of pancreas and histology of pancreas. Thank you.